Hey guys, this is Alec with HomeBinder, and today we're going to be doing a short video with Christian from Repair Pricer to learn all the ins and outs of Repair Pricer, who they are, what they do, and why home inspectors are using Repair Pricer. Hey Christian, how are you today?
Good, Alec. Hey, I appreciate you having me on, man. Looking forward to talking with you and hopefully educating some people a little bit more about what it is that we do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Christian, I guess let's start off just diving into who you are, your background on yourself, and talking a little bit about why you started Repair Pricer.
Yeah, so I was working as an agent and a broker. I actually first got licensed in 2004, and over the years, I ended up running a team of about 80 plus agents. Wow. About 5 years ago now, I think when we got to our biggest point, we're doing about 150 million a year in sales. And one of the biggest pain points was after we got the home inspection report back, we always got that question, how much will this cost to fix? And the agents wanted to help people, the inspectors wanted to help people, but normally inspectors were precluded from doing that, right, from a liability standpoint. So what we saw, these agents kind of coming up with numbers for repair items out of thin air. You know, these are talented agents, but they're not necessarily builders or contractors. And so the liability standpoint from a broker was huge.
Yeah.
We tried to find a better way of doing this. And honestly, also as well, is that sometimes consumers were confused by the size and the exhaustiveness of a home inspection report. So we were like, how can we make this simpler to understand and simpler to kind of act upon? So we started doing this in-house. And then it's really just grown from there. As other agents got their hands on the tool, they just started asking, where did you get this?
Right.
And about 2015, we realized we had something.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, for those of you that don't know what Repair Pricer is and what it does, they provide cost estimates on everything that comes up in the inspection report in less than 24 hours at a 98% accuracy. Super impressive. One of the common questions that I get, Christian, from inspectors especially is, how do you guys actually get to the estimates? How do you get to the numbers? Walk me through a little bit of that process.
Yeah, so there's kind of three stages, right? The first is we've got to identify the defects, okay? Right. So that we actually use artificial intelligence that reads these reports because we see thousands of reports a week in, 100 different formats from hundreds of different zip codes. So that's the first part, is working out what's really going on. And once we've done that, we kind of recreate the reports in our own database, all right? Okay. So we bring in pictures from the home inspection report. We bring in photos from the MLS. We bring in satellite images. We bring in lot dimension data. All right. And so what we're trying to do in that stage, let's recreate the home in our database. Okay. Let's model it as accurately as we can. And so for some small items, really easy to do. Okay. So we can tell you what replace a GFCI outlet is in any zip code, right? That's very easy for us to do. But those larger items that are more complicated, we kind of have to do a deep dive. And so we actually have human pricing experts.
Okay.
They do all of these reports in person. They tend to be ex-contractors, HVAC contractors who are tired of, we're based in Texas, right? There's only so long you want to spend in attics HVAC when it's 110 degrees, okay?
Yeah.
So insurance appraisers, really experts in their field, they review these for accuracy, go through, assign the prices, and then we publish that report from there. 1 to 2 pages normally is what it comes down to.
Okay. And so related to the actual report itself, once it's gone through your whole system and now have a generated report, and I've talked to you a little bit about this before, where you guys are not only using the inspection report, but you leverage other tools too, right? Like Eagle View for roofs and things like that. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, Google Street View, there's certain equations we can work out and we get a picture of the front of the house. We bring in a lot of data points. I can't tell you exactly how we do it, but we do bring in a lot of information to really accurately depict that house for our experts.
Yeah. So now I'm an agent, right? And I have my Repair Pricer report from the inspection. Mm-hmm. Walk me through a little bit on how I would use the report, what it's meant to be used for, and then what also it's not meant to be.
Right. Yeah. So firstly, it's a massive time-saving tool. Okay. The first aha moment I had with this was I was at a client's house. They were doing a wedding video release party, and right as they're about to start, I get a phone call, and it's about, I think, 6, 7 p.m. My client's had just got their inspection report back. They're freaking out. Okay, so now I'm dragged outside in the rain with my phone, trying to scroll and look at this kind of stuff. And so that period of examination initially used to take about 2 hours to read through the report effectively, okay? And then my whole next day or two was spent trying to corral contractors. Okay, so a time-saving tool.
Like herding cats, right?
Yeah, it's been called a lot of things, but it's a time-saving tool initially, but then it becomes a negotiation tool.
Okay.
You've got really objectionable, actionable, accurate information that an agent can take to their client, and they're the area experts, like the inspector. They can say, look, these items, they're all less than $100. Okay, they're easily fixable. There's probably not an issue. Half of them are code issues, and sellers in your area are not going to negotiate for this. Okay, but here are your big ticket items we've got to be concerned about. Okay, me as an agent, a broker, I always recommend it to my clients, to my agents, don't have the seller do the fix.
Right.
Okay, they're normally going to get the cheapest person possible, even if they're super honest. That's what they're going to do. And so we say, look, take this information to the seller. Say, look, I don't care about these 15 items, but here are 3 major concerns. Here's what Repair Pricer has estimated it's going to cost to fix these. I'm just asking for a concession, whether that's closing costs or a reduction in sales price. And then the buyer can take care of that in their own time.
Yeah. So it's really not meant to be end all be all pricing. It's more meant to be quick numbers that are going to be super accurate for getting that work, done, or at least negotiated on with the agent so that the transaction can actually speed up and move forward. Whereas in today's world, like you said, most agents are spending at least a few days trying to get local home pros on the phone to get estimates for things. And they're only getting a tiny fraction of the things that they actually need estimates for.
Right. Yeah. It's like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can use it. Some people are saying, oh, this is a projected long-term ownership cost tool. But really what we see is it's only the big stuff people want to pay attention to, but it's good information to have on everything, right? And it helps keep the deal together. 29% of deals that fall apart are because of home inspection findings. That's based on a 2017 NAR study, okay? It's normally, and these items are normally less than 1% of the value of the home.
Right.
Everybody still wants to move forward. They just don't understand how to do it. This just helps keep things on track and it really helps keep deals together.
Yeah, one of the things that I really appreciate about Repair Pricer and the vision moving forward, becoming a standard as a part of a transaction, is that if you think about it right now as a home inspector, you're providing an inspection report that has a ton of awesome information in it, right? Stuff that people really should absorb and act on. But the reality is that inspection reports tends to get looked at, once or twice, and then it's never looked at it again because nothing is actionable. So one of the things that Repair Pricer helps empower, people to do is actually move forward and progress after the inspection report to actually get some of that stuff taken care of on their house. Because right now, I joke with inspectors about this all the time. If you were to go back and inspect the same house that you inspected today, 5 years from now, the inspection report's going to look almost identical, if not with the house being in worse condition, right? So that's another big thing too, is actually making that report a little bit more actionable. So go ahead.
I was going to say it's concerning sometimes when we see stuff get ignored that much. But in that national study we published last year, with over 100,000 home inspection reports. Okay, some of the biggest items were things like smoke detectors.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really cheap fix. A lot of fire stations give them away for free. Carbon monoxide detectors, water intrusion. Okay, most of these can be fixed with a caulking gun, right, and a step ladder and a weekend. So yeah, I think what happens is people sometimes do get overwhelmed.
Right. There's a lot going on at the same time.
Yeah. And it does let them come back after the fact. That's what we say, do this after you move in, okay? Come back, make your list, and just read through it and take those steps, whether it takes 6 months or a week.
Right.
It makes it easy for them to understand, what that timeline should look like.
Yeah, and especially for, the newer up and coming agents that need to get these numbers fast. They expect technology. I mean, it's just got such a significant value proposition to get the transaction moving forward. So that, there's no waiting for home pros to call you back. It just, it all adds up. So speaking of on the home inspector side, why as an inspector should you be using Repair Pricer and talking to agents about this tool?
Yeah, so what was really interesting is this tool was not designed for home inspectors. It was designed for agents, but we had to go to the home inspection industry to legally get access to that many reports, right? Because they belong to the inspector and the buyers. And as we worked alongside home inspectors that were rolling this out, it became a marketing tool, okay? So just to give you, like 2018, on our website, realtors spent over $250,000 on our reports, okay? Paying for these themselves out of pocket. So that should give you an idea of the value that kind of realtors put on this. So what we see is when inspectors add this service, okay, and include it on their inspections, and that's the key right there. You've got two things that happen. One, we get to work immediately. Okay, so there's no delay between when that report goes out and when somebody finds themselves organically, right? That 24-hour period that we guarantee reports back in starts immediately. So that's the first thing. Two, the agents appreciate it, okay, because they realize the inspector just saved them a ton of time, potentially money as well.
Right.
Agents, this is a big thing in real estate, okay, that I always coached people on. If it's not making you money, outsource it.
Yeah.
Okay. Doing this is not a money-making tool, right? Let us do this. Go prospect, go door knock, go, do pop buys to your clients, go and write a thank you card to somebody. Let us take care of the heavy lifting on this, okay, so that you can actually do more deals. And so when inspectors do add this service, what we see is those agents that are successful, that are busy, okay, because if you're not busy, you probably wouldn't need us. They now say, okay, I've got 2 home inspection companies. They're both good, great level of service, responsive, good reports. But one's using Repair Pricer.
Yeah.
Which one do you think they're going to use?
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Right. And so it became a marketing tool by accident. And we just really appreciate the support we got from the home inspection industry because it was unprecedented. We literally went just to get information and came away with this tool, and inspectors are loving.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome. And one of the things that, inspectors that I talk to all the time that a lot of them don't realize is that agents have heard the same message from home inspectors for decades, right? They walk into the office, they talk about how they do this type of inspection, they do that type of inspection, they're certified in this, they're certified in that. The agents have heard the same thing for decades. What they're not used to hearing is the inspector bringing to the table something that's going to solve problems for them, help make their day-to-day easier, and help them to grow their business. So makes sense. I mean, just knock it out of the park from a marketing perspective to solve such a big problem for the
nobody can do this. They literally can't do it. And one agent called it a happy hour tool.
Yeah.
She said, I got my happy hour back. That's why I use that inspector, because when my client buys Repair Pricer in that package, she's like, I got my evenings back. For me, it was getting to spend time with my family. Yeah. What it is, it's something, and it means something to the agents.
Yeah, time is just, you can't buy time. Right?
No.
So one of the really common questions I get from inspectors when they first start using Repair Pricer is around if they need to change the way that they write their inspection reports to make sure that the estimates, the items that you guys provide estimates are the right ones and the right amount of information. Is that something that you recommend that people do? Like, should they hone the report in a little bit, or just walk me through that?
Yeah, I mean, not really. Most inspectors we work with tend to be tech savvy, progressive. They're using good software, right? They're clear in their reporting already. It's very rarely that we'd run across somebody on our platform or on your platform that we would have to say anything like that about. The only thing that can bring more accuracy is being specific about quantity.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Broken window seals, right? Tell us how many windows.
Right.
If the client comes back and says, oh, by the way, there were actually 12 windows, not 2, we'll happily update that, right? That for free. That's a big problem. But yeah, if you want the accuracy up front, quantities really help us. Outside of that, good pictures, that's pretty much it. We have everything we need.
Awesome. So as an example with windows, it's not 3 or more windows, it's how many windows actually need to be resealed, whatever.
Yeah, that's really the only thing I've seen help improve accuracy.
That makes sense. Now, as a home inspector, how do you recommend that the inspector explains what they're doing with Repair Pricer to the real estate agent? Like, how should they catch the agent up to speed with what this is, some apprehension that could come up as an agent when they think about it for the first time. What's the best recommendation too?
Yeah, so there's a few different parts to that. Firstly, yes, 100% make sure your agents are educated on our tool and they know what it is. Okay, how to use it, how not to use it. We're not right for every home. If that home's got massive issues, okay, you probably want to get boots on the ground. So we have our own knowledge base. I know you guys have information as well, videos like this that show them how to read the reports. First thing is just making sure they've seen a report and they know how to read it, okay? But yeah, definitely making sure the agent is coached to kind of talk to their client and say, is this the right transaction for Repair Pricer? A brand new home where the builder's going to fix everything? You don't need us, okay? A small condo with very little issues? You don't need us on that. And a tear down, you definitely don't need us on that, okay? The 70% of homes that fall outside of that, that's where we should be used, especially in those time crunch scenarios. And so once agents understand what we do, how we do it, and understand how to walk their clients through the report, that's when the tool becomes amazing. And we categorically do not want consumers using this without an educated inspector or educated agent.
Right. Easy to misunderstand what the report is, right?
Yeah. They do this once every 5 years. Agents and inspectors do this every day. So make sure there's an expert with them going through the report.
Right. Making sure they truly understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, is there any ways in particular that you see inspectors using Repair Pricer incorrectly? Give some examples of how, as an inspector, you could not implement this the right way.
Yeah. So what's interesting is when we onboard a lot of inspectors, initially they say, right, I'm going to give you the toughest inspection report I can find. Categorically, we say, all right, that's not the ideal scenario for what we do. Kind of like I said earlier, if it needs a ton of work, foundational issues, right? Stuff that you need a structural engineer for. There is only so much we can do remotely. Okay. We're going to do as well as we can. But when you think it's in the client's best interest to actually get somebody out to the home, get somebody out to the home. And if we've already processed that report and the client's not happy and feels like there's no value, we'll refund them. Okay. It's not a big issue. I would say, using us on transactions in homes that you really need a further look and require further investigation on. I'd say that's one of the very few problems that we have.
Okay. Now, speaking of things that you wouldn't be good for Repair Pricer, what are some of the items? I know you guys price 30,000 different things.
Yeah.
What types of things would you not provide an estimate for? What would not be covered under a Repair Pricer report?
Yeah. So what's interesting is some of those scenarios, we actually do provide pricing for like testing and further investigation, but it's because we recommend that. So let's say you've got stucco that's deteriorating. I'm going to recommend you get that tested and, board and essentially have somebody do a proper look at it because that's an extremely potentially expensive repair.
Right.
Foundation issues, if you need a structural engineer, get a structural engineer out there. That's a big problem you can't just rip out from under the house.
Right. Like a retaining wall would be another one that would come to mind.
Yeah. Massive mold issues.
Okay.
I can tell you what it's going to cost to test for mold because I'm going to recommend you test for mold.
Right.
Just these things that, and inspectors know this, and hopefully agents should know this. We're not trying to scare people. We're trying to give them information they can act on, right? So we actually have a category called, requires further investigation.
Gotcha.
And go under there. Like I said, if the client's doesn't think we've done enough, give you money back. It's fine.
Right. And at the end of the day, it's not meant to be end all be all pricing. It's meant to help get that transaction move forward because the agent knows only so much of what comes up in the inspection report is actually emotional. Right?
Exactly. And that's very market specific. And we understand that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I think we've covered a ton of ground here today, Christian. One of the things that a lot of inspectors don't know about is how Repair Pricer works through HomeBinder. So to give kind of the quick explanation on why HomeBinder is working with Repair Pricer and then also how it works. We've known each other for a couple years now. When you guys were only working in the state of Texas, now you're in all 50 states and up in Canada. And we wanted to supply a tool the inspector can better market to these agents like Christian was talking about. It's really a marketing tool for inspectors to save the agent time from a negotiation standpoint. And we wanted to come up with a creative model for inspectors to be able to implement this and walk into any agent office and tell them that Repair Pricer comes as a free option for them with every single inspection that they do with the inspector. So we enabled a prepaid model where inspectors can pay $14 per binder, regardless of if the agent orders it or not, to empower you guys to be able to provide this, like Christian said, to people that need it. Because we know not every single agent is going to order the report. There's going to be some agents that are in a transaction where it's a multiple offer situation and there really isn't any room for negotiation. So maybe they don't need it. There's going to be some inspections that come up where the agent knows that the client's not going to move forward with the home. So they're not going to order. And there's going to be some examples, like Christian said, where Repair Pricer really isn't the tool that they need to get those big ticket items, pricing for. So factoring all those things in, we were able to get the price down a little bit to make it more affordable for the inspector to pre-bid it for everybody, to empower you on the marketing front as an inspector to have a drop the mic event where you can go in and solve that big problem for the agents. And strategically at HomeBinder, the reason why we're so excited about Repair Pricer is that it turns this inspection report into something actionable for the client. So for those of you that know a little bit about HomeBinder being a digital binder for the client, we can actually take those items that come up in the inspection report and load them into the client's HomeBinder account as to-do projects. So now they can be much more proactive in home ownership versus largely what's happened for decades being reactive. So just a little background there, but if you want to go into more detail with or Christian, we're more than happy to get a time schedule in the calendar. I'll drop a link to my calendar below so that you click on that link. I'm happy to cover everything top to bottom. Christian's kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm sure he's more than happy to talk with you as well. But yeah, I think that covers it, Christian. Is there anything else that you think that I missed today that inspectors are often curious about?
The only thing I would say is like our consumer pricing and how it differs to you guys.
Yeah.
The average price paid on our website is $74 for a single report. So to get it for $14 through a HomeBinder is obviously a significant discount. And we do have resellers selling it up to $100. So the perceived value is there.
Yeah.
That's the kind of what I reiterate is that there's a lot of value to this. And you guys are the only channel where they can actually get it down that low. So
yeah, definitely more than enough ground to increase your inspection price too. Depending on the market, obviously, what we recommend across the board, if you get started with Repair Pricer through HomeBinder, you do a slight price increase of somewhere between $15 to $25 at a minimum, if not, $40, $50, because you're saving the client $36 a year or $300 of value through HomeBinder because you're giving that to them for free. And plus Repair Pricer, like Christian just said, it's $80 is what their average cost is. So to be able to provide that with every inspection, you have more than enough ground to do a slight price increase. And I don't see enough inspectors increasing their inspection price.
No.
Yeah. To buy a truck now, it's like $60,000. I talked to some inspectors that haven't touched their pricing in 3 years. So definitely a good thing to do. And, at the end of the day, it's a really good agent negotiation tool that you can take to those agent offices. You're marketing to the agents, and you're going to be winning a lot of new agents. That's another thing, you and I have talked about too, where this isn't necessarily just a tool to capture agents that you already have good relationships with, but a tool to bring in new agents, right? People that you've never talked to.
Yeah, that's the ideal scenario. Younger, tech-savvy, boutique agents on the move and on the rise. The busy ones. This is who love this tool.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Christian, thanks so much, man, for the time today. I really appreciate it. And like I said, if anybody has any questions for either of us, we are more than happy to help you. So good luck with the inspections, and we'll talk here soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.